Excuse me, iPhone 7. I know I'll buy it in the back of the I'll put you right on because he's driving.
All right, we're ready to begin. Are the PDs on?
Everybody on courtroom 2's first.
Okay, there we go. All right, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. We're going to begin the Fulton County State Court Expedited Accusations calendar. This is a calendar for cases in which individuals have recently been arrested and charged with certain misdemeanor offenses. Soon after their arrest, the Fulton County Solicitor General's office has already accused these cases of the offenses brought against them, and the cases have been bound over to the Fulton County State Court. Nevertheless, this will usually be the defendant's initial appearance before a state court judge. We are able to address several matters, including bond, possible arraignment, and a possible plea offer if one has been made by the state at this juncture. I will be providing you with a reset date for SAP. What's that date, Miss Bridgewater?
It is June the 13th, Your Honor.
All right. All right, SAP, June 13th. I want to first remind everyone that this whole entire proceeding is being recorded as well as live streamed on YouTube, so please govern yourselves accordingly. I want to also begin by reminding the defendants on this calendar that you have certain constitutional rights. You have a right to have counsel. At this juncture in your case, you should know who your attorney is by this point. Also, you have a right to remain silent. Remember that anything that you state about the facts, the circumstances, or the occurrences of your case can and will be held against you. The state is here and they're listening, so follow the lead of your attorney. Who do we have first, deputies?
We have position number 15, Mr. Roberson.
Yes, sir. This is 24 CR 003347H. Jalen Roberson, charged with 1 count of battery family violence, a 2nd count of cruelty to children in 3rd degree. Pretrial.
Third arrest, 2022 drug trafficking, 2021 prohibited item by inmate. That drug trafficking is open out of Henry County.
Right. State.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. This
Afternoon.
incident took place March 9th, 2024. Officers responded to a domestic dispute call at 629 Woods Drive in Atlanta. Upon arrival, they made contact with the victim, Miss Kayla Powell. She advised that the defendant is her boyfriend. They live together and they have a child together. He was upset with her because she did not want to be intimate with him. He tried to kick her out of the house. She packed her things to leave. The defendant accused her of taking his phone charger and struck her in the face while she was holding their 8-month-old child, initials AJ. The defendant then locked the victim out of her room. The victim started knocking, trying to get her items, and the defendant opened the door and struck her again. The victim sustained a cut to her on the inside of her mouth. And she also told the police that the defendant has previously assaulted her in January, but she did not call the police. Our office has not been in touch with her at this time. The state's recommending a $2,500 surety bond on the battery, a $500 surety bond on the cruelty, no further contact with the victim, a stay away from the incident location, FVIP, no weapons, drugs, or alcohol while out on bond. And if we could sound for Miss Kayla Powell.
All right, Kayla Powell. Kayla Powell. All right, she's not on. Which PD? PD Kim. Okay, I see you there.
Yes, Your Honor. Mr. Robertson is only 22 years young. He graduated from high school and he also studied at college. It is called Fortis Trade School. He has a HVAC diploma and also license. He has been working to fix air conditioning and HVAC for the last 3 years. He has a really good full-time job. He has to take care of this newborn baby. Your Honor, we would like to request for signature on bond during pretrial. This is his first offense as a violence offense. I think he needs to have a one-time at least have some kind of like consideration for this is his first violence offense. Let me see. He is currently residing at his grandmother's house. They do not live together, Your Honor. Indeed, they broke up. So only thing he needs is third-party transfer. However, he strongly prefers to have a no further violent contact. That's it, Your Honor.
All right. I'm going to give him a $3,000 surety bond. That's $2,500 on the battery family violence, $500 on the cruelty. I'm going to order a stay away from Miss Powell's address. I'm assuming that's the 629 Woods Drive. And no further contact with Miss Powell. No further contact with the other victim, who is the minor child. I think the initials were AJ. So No further contact at this time and a stay away. No drugs, alcohol, weapons, or guns while on bond. And I think that'll be it.
Did I hear correctly, Your Honor, this was, first violence offense? Is it gonna be retrial bond? This is like.
No,
surety
no,
bond.
well, that's a 2022 open drug trafficking case. I don't know, does, violence or not, I'm not for sure why he's just now being arrested. It happened in March, and I understand that, but I've not heard from this victim. I want to make sure the victim is safe. She and her child, they've had previous violence that wasn't reported, but that's in the report. So I'm not going to give him a signature bond.
Thank you, Your Honor. Thanks.
Okay. Next, we have position number 5, Ms. Holt.
This is 24 CR 003333G. Miranda Holt, charged with 1 count of disorderly conduct, 2nd count of violating a family protective order.
5th arrest, 2017 probation, 2016 FTA, level 1.
Okay. State?
Yes, Your Honor. This incident occurred, let me just get to my notes on Holt. Let's see. This incident occurred May 29th, 2024 at 2645 Old Milton Parkway in Alpharetta. Brandon Johnson had gone to the Alpharetta Police Department headquarters regarding a violation of the TPO that was in place by this defendant. The defendant had not yet been served with the TPO, but Mr. Johnson indicated that she was standing in the parking lot across the street at the racetrack. So the officer relocated themselves across the street, told the defendant she had a TPO to serve. The officer began reading the TPO to the defendant, but the defendant refused to listen and stated that the officer did not need to read it. The officer then placed a copy on the vehicle of the defendant, who then took the paperwork and threw it to the ground, at which point the officer told the defendant that if she didn't pick it up, they were going to arrest her for littering. At that point, the officer relocated back across the street to talk to Mr. Johnson, and the defendant followed and came within 15 feet of Mr. Johnson in violation of the TPO that had literally just been served on her. The defendant was then told she was in violation of the TPO by the officer, told her she needed to leave. The defendant refused to leave and ended up being arrested. I just want to note that as she was being arrested, she stated to Mr. Brandon Johnson, Brandon, I'm going to mess up your fucking world. Brandon, I'm going to mess you up. Brandon, I got you. I got you. And this was in the presence, Your Honor, of the officer. The officer was literally standing there arresting her as she was yelling this to the victim in violation of a TPO that had just been served. We have had a chance to talk to Mr. Johnson. He stated that they are not in a relationship. They do not live together. They do share a child. Mr. Johnson says the defendant keeps following him everywhere. She knows he hangs out where he hangs out, and she's threatening him. He also stated that the defendant has come to his job on 2 separate locations, caused a scene, gotten him fired, and that on this incident, the defendant came to the racetrack where she knows that he frequents and asked his coworker where he was. She then spotted him and came up to him wanting to talk. He has always emphasized, and even to the officer, he emphasized he wants nothing to do with her. He wants her to leave him alone. He is not attending the Zoom today, but he did tell the officer at the scene that he was in fear of his life. He believes the defendant will attempt to kill him, and he's worried he's not being taken seriously because she's a woman and he's a man. I know Mr. Johnson isn't here, but I would like to assure him that we do take this very seriously. I am showing that the defendant has a 2016 FTA, a 2017 probation violation. We are asking for $1,500 surety bond for the temporary protective order violation, $1,500 surety bond on the disorderly conduct. No further contact with Brandon Johnson. And when I say no further contact, I mean no contact whatsoever. Do not come within 200 yards of Brandon Johnson. Do not call him. Do not reach out to him through third parties. Do not contact his employers. Do not reach out to him at his job. no contact, as well as no alcohol, drugs, or weapons. We would like to sound for Mr. Brandon Johnson just in case he did decide to attend this Zoom hearing. Nothing further from the state.
All right, Mr. Brandon Johnson. Brandon Johnson. All right, go ahead, PD Kim.
Yes, Your Honor, my client is actually, her story is so different from what ASG said. Your Honor, my client denies the allegation. It was just like, I gotcha, was kind of like a saying of like, you and I are talking about it, we understand things. We would talk about this. That has nothing to do with the violence, Your Honor. And she literally had, it was like a less than 10 seconds that she just got that PPU order. She didn't even know about it. So, Your Honor, it's kind of way too much harsh punishment for somebody who just got served. And that place is, incident location is not my client's place, I believe. This is your place, right? And we have no objection as long as she can go back to her own place. She has no objection about 2645 Old Milton Parkway. He has no objection about not having any contact with him either. She's the one who actually want to run away from him, who has been habitually violent toward my client. And she has actually 6 minor children from 11 months old to 13 years old. And she got to go back home to take care of them. She recently lost her baby about 2 weeks ago, so she's still grieving the loss. And this is way too much shocking in terms of what's going on right now. She is the sole provider. He does not work. My client works and pays for the rent, the $2,500. The house is in her name. She's determined to file for eviction, so he doesn't harass her anymore. And we would like to request for signature on bond. Right now, there's nobody else who can help her out to bail. It's very important for her to get out to take care of her 6 minor children, Your Honor.
And Your Honor, I would like to just say, even if you don't believe any of what Brandon Johnson told the officer, you had the officer's version of the events that they witnessed as she was harassing Mr. Johnson. This is coming from our victim. This is coming from the officer who saw this.
All right, I'm going to order the $3,000 surety bond. I'm going to order that $1,500 on each charge. Want to make sure that there's been the ample cooling down and that this incident is over. I understand the parties don't live together, but as our bond orders say, and I think Deputy Falk did a good job stating that all the boxes will be checked. She is to stay 200 yards away from the victim, Mr. Johnson, else you just end up right back here at the Fulton County Jail. You are to not contact him through any third parties, no emails, no cell phones, no friends, no family. You're not to go to his jobs. You're not to go to places where he hangs out. This has got to stop, and you're not to go around him. I know that you all share a child. I'm not going to order any visitation with that, but since you have to stay away, if you can't have it done by somebody else, then actually it won't happen, or else you'll be in violation of your protective order, because I'm trying to make sure the two of you are staying away from each other. No drugs, alcohol, weapons, or guns while on bond, and just stay away from Mr. Brandon Johnson.
Your Honor,
That's-
plans to file for eviction, so I guess court procedure should be okay, right? We just want to clarify that part.
What procedure will be okay?
Eviction, disciplinary action against Mr. Brandon, who is residing at her place right now.
Oh, I don't care. There's a stay away. And I was saying, yeah, I guess I said that she would stay away from his place, but his place is her place.
Yes.
Or where are her other children?
With my mom, with her mother.
So the other children are not there. She's gonna have to get on the couch and stay with her mom then. until he can find somewhere else to live.
Okay. Thank you very much, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Next, we have position number 19, Mr. Townsend. Mr. Townsend.
This is 24 CR 003351D, Anthony Townsend, charged with 1 count of battery, 2nd count of willful obstruction of a law enforcement officer. Pretrial.
23 total. He been arrested 6 times this year.
Right there.
Got ag assault, ag battery, possession of a firearm during the commission. 20,
Who's talking? Okay.
22 CP 207020. Open trespass 24 CR 003084D. Was arrested May 21st for shoplifting trespass, May 14th, trespass. Got another trespass from this year, playing NOLO. Couple of batteries from this year, 2022 FTA.
All right, state.
Your Honor, this incident took place May 27th, 2024. Officers were dispatched to the Larry's Quick Stop located at 2717 Sylvan Road in East Point in reference to a fight. Upon arrival, they made contact with the defendant initially, who was acting very belligerent and profusely sweating, and he told the officers that B got what she deserves. They then went to detain the defendant to figure out what was going on. He kept pulling his arms away from the officers because he did not want to be detained. The officers then made contact with the victim, Monique Knox, who advised that the defendant randomly came up to her at this quick stop and started punching her in the face, picked her up, and then slammed her on her back. The victim had a cut on her lip. There was also a witness to the event who corroborated what the victim said. Our office has not been in touch with the victim as of yet. And as you heard from pretrial, he has several open cases. He has an open aggravated assault case. He has an open battery from March. And he has several shoplifting and criminal trespass charges as well. The state is recommending a $2,500 surety bond on the battery, a $500 surety bond on the obstructions, a total be $3,000 surety bond, no further contact with the victim, a stay away from the Larry's Quick Stop, anger awareness, no weapons, drugs, or alcohol while on bond. And if we could sound for Monique Knox.
All right, Monique Knox. Monique Knox. All right. Go ahead, PD Kim.
Yes, Your Honor, my client, Mr. Townsend, is 31 years old. He's been here in Georgia for the last 29 years, and he has been residentially challenged. And if he also has, he does not have any children. He has education up to 9th grade. He wants to complete GED, and yet he has not completed yet. We would like to request for a signature on bond through pretrial, whichever level your honor deems to appropriate, or we would like to request for the minimum surety bond. He has no financial means to pay for any bond, so any bond other than signature on bond will be like a no bond to him right now. Thank you.
All right, I'm going to, with the history that he has, I'm going to order surety bond, $3,000 surety bond, $2,500 on the battery, $500 on the willful obstruction. Stay away from Larry's Quick Stop on Sylvan Road. No further contact with the victim, Monique Knox. No drugs, alcohol, weapons, or guns while on bond. Next.
Next, we have position number, I believe this is 8, Mrs. Jackson.
Hey, Shelly, what happened with Alto Blocker?
You're muted.
Some reason my unmute didn't want to unmute. Alto Blacker went to PAD, as well as Andrea Grimes and Rossini Barnwell. So all three were accepted into PAD.
Now Blocker out on pretrial, so he gonna have to sit tight, just so y'all know. That's why I'm asking.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Got it. Thank you for letting me know. I didn't see any violent or anything, any crazy history on him, but okay. Thank you.
All right.
All right, position 8, LaShawn Jackson, 24 CR 0033338F, charge of 1 count of battery family violence, 2nd count of cruelty to children in the 3rd degree. Good job.
Jackson, first arrest, jail was a recommendation.
State.
Your Honor, this incident took place May 22nd, 2024 at 4355 Cascade Road, apartment D8 in South Fulton. Officers responded to a fight call. Upon arrival, they met with the victim. I'm going to spell it Ayyomilekan, Lowell, who advised that he and his wife were in a verbal dispute when she accused him of cheating on her. The defendant snatched the victim's phone and locked herself in the bedroom. She then opened the door and pushed him and scratched him. The victim had lacerations on his arms, and all of this happened in the presence of, I believe it's just the defendant's minor child, the juvenile. And this is, our office has been in touch with the victim. He stated that he and the defendant are married. They live together. They do not have children together. He confirmed the events in the warrant. He stated that he only called the police to de-escalate the situation. He didn't want the defendant to be arrested. He said nothing like this has ever happened before. They've been living together since this incident. There's been no violence. He's not in fear of her, and he would like to continue contact. Our office is recommending a signature bond through pretrial, a no further violent contact with the victim, family violence intervention program, no weapons, drugs, or alcohol while out on bond. And if we could sound for Mr. Lowell, I believe he's on the Zoom.
Yes,
Yes, Mr. Lowell, before you speak, I need to swear you in. Do you wish to answer a few questions for the court today?
yes,
All right, raise your right hand for me. Do you affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the truth and nothing but the truth under the penalty of perjury?
yes,
All right, put your hand down. Are you in fear of Miss Jackson?
no,
Do you want to have any further contact with Miss Jackson?
yes,
All right, and I think the state told me that you didn't want to bring any charges. This hasn't happened, and you're willing for her to come home.
yeah. She has never done this before. She was just emotional at that moment. I only called because where I was coming from, I'm coming from Nigeria. If you call the police, they could help you to de-escalate it. So I did not know we were going to go through all of this. Like, I never knew.
Do you all have a child together?
No, we don't.
Okay, and so this cruelty charge to the 3rd is whose child?
She is a child.
Is her child?
Yes.
How old is that child?
She's 8 years old.
How old?
8 years old.
Okay, 8. All right, I don't have any other questions. Any cross-examination?
Your Honor, I just have one question. Mr. Lowell, what is her child's name?
Ariana Jackson.
And that's spelled Ariana?
NNA.
Thank you.
Arianna.
That's all the questions I
I'm
have.
gonna
Thank
put that
you.
in the chat because that's a minor. And I like to go by their initials. All right. PD Atai.
Yes, Your Honor, my client is 25 years old. She has lived in Georgia all her life. She is the mother of the 8-year-old child. She is gainfully employed as a nurse assistant and has been doing that for at least 4 years. Of course, she's graduated from high school, and as you heard, this is her very first arrest. The complaining witness does want contact and did not even think he was calling the police to have her arrested, and as you heard, doesn't want to press charges. So I would ask for no violent contact. Of course, she's able to return to the home, and no restrictions on contact with the child, Your Honor. And I would object to the FVIP. This is her first arrest. I don't think that that's necessary at this point. And And I would ask for a signature bond through the jail, and nothing further.
All right, I will order a $3,000 signature bond through the jail. 2,500 on the battery and 500 on the cruelty for a total of 3,000. No further violent contact with the victim. No drugs, alcohol, weapons, or guns while on bond. And I believe that will be it.
Your
Thank-
Honor, what was the amount of the total bond?
Should be 3,000, 2,500 and 500.
Okay, I thought you had said 2,000 for the total, but okay, we have it as 3.
25. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, anything else? Nope.
Nothing from the state.
Okay,
Nothing from defense. Thank you, Your Honor.
thank you.
Next, we have position number 7, Mr. Houseworth.
It's 24 CR 0033336G. Donovan Houseworth, one charge at 1 count of simple battery, 2 counts of simple battery family violence.
6 and 7, right?
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Yeah, he has 2 cases. Sorry about that. I didn't notice.
And just to, Your Honor, just to make it a little bit more complex, because, you know, it's not complex enough, we have a cross warrant on this, which is position 20, Miss Yasmin Wood. So if we could address 6 first, because 6 only involves Mr. Houseworth, and then 7 and 20 are the cross warrants.
Okay, 7 and 20. Okay. All right, let me call 6. 24 CR 0033335G. Mr. Houseworth is charged with 1 count of theft by taking.
Or total 2016 simple battery. Well, he got 2 2016 simple battery arrests. They were dismissed. 2015 robbery. I'm not sure the disposition. Jail was a recommendation.
Okay.
Your Honor, if I could just check on the robbery, because I believe he actually was either convicted or under first offender with that. I just need a moment to just double check that.
Okay.
Okay, I am not seeing a disposition either, Your Honor. I went to our attorney manager to see if I could see it through there. All right, so this incident happened.
Don't say anything.
This incident happened on October 23rd, 2022 at 3175 Middleton Road Northwest. The defendant took $200 in cash from the purse of Jaquaria Bowser without her permission. The defendant was actually observed on home surveillance camera taking the cash from her purse. We did have an opportunity to speak with Ms. Bowser. She stated that she was dating, the defendant was dating her friend at the time of this incident. She stated her friend and the defendant were at her house on that day, and it was her daughter's birthday, and she had $200 in cash sitting on the table. She stated when she went to get the money was gone, and that she has cameras in her home, and when she went back and looked at the cameras, she saw that the defendant had taken the money. She also stated she took out the warrant because the defendant had someone texting her, telling her that the defendant was going to pay the money back, and she never got her money back. She has also not seen this defendant since. I will state that the defendant appears to have a hold from South Fulton in the jail records, as well as that 2015 robbery and 2016 simple battery, which is null prost. We are asking, the bond is actually currently set at $2,500. We're asking that be reduced to $1,000 surety bond, no further contact with Jaquaria Bowser, and stay away from 3175 Middleton Road Northwest. No alcohol, drugs, or weapons. At this time, we would like to sound for Miss Jaquaria Bowser.
All right, Jaquaria Bowser. All right, so the incident date is 10/23/2022.
That is correct, Your Honor. And as I said, the bond was already set at $2,500. We're actually asking for a bond reduction to $1,000.
All right. And Ms. McLeod, this is your client.
Yes, Your Honor. I would ask a signature bond for my client, Your Honor, on this case. I think a signature bond is more appropriate given what is alleged and also how long ago this incident has happened.
All right, I will order a $1,000 signature bond. And it looks like if he has a hold in South Fulton, is he staying there? I mean, South Fulton uses Fulton County Jail.
Right, but it literally says in the jail manager, and I don't know what the basis of it is. I'm not sure if pretrial could maybe help me with that.
What
But
happened?
it's saying it has a foreign county hold dated 5/27/24 from South Fulton. It's in the jail manager when I went in to look at jail manager.
What was this arrest at?
I don't know. I'm just showing, it's just showing a hit confirmation on a hold from South Fulton, but I don't know what it's based on.
But no, what he's in here now for? This come from APD or what? I'm just trying to.
No,
You
it's
get what
from
I'm
City of South Fulton.
Okay.
So this is City of South Fulton as well.
The hold is City from South Fulton.
No, I'm talking about the charges now.
Right.
You're talking
The
about the
theft
theft by
by taking
taking.
is a private warrant
Oh,
Okay.
private from
from
the
the Fulton
from the
County
victim.
Magistrate
From
Court.
one
Yeah.
application,
Okay.
probably. Let me see.
Yeah, that's why she said she had taken out that warrant, and yes, it is a private warrant. And then the other case is East Point Police Department, the simple battery family violence. So neither one are South Fulton. So South
So
Fulton is different
South
than-
Fulton is a FTA. That's what
Okay.
that's what I see.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
I asked that circular question, South Fulton, the hold, it would still be the Fulton County Jail because they don't have their own jail.
I understand, but it looks like regardless of whatever the bond is going to be set at, he's got a FTA, he's going to sit in jail.
Okay. And I was just trying to, and you were aware of that, Ms. McLeod?
I was not aware that he had this hold, Your Honor.
Oh, okay. All right. I'll still do the 1,000 signature bond.
Thank you, Your Honor.
And then we'll sort it out with the other case as well as the hold, and he can be released to South Fulton, however that would work.
That's a SOB through the jail or pretrial?
SOB to the jail.
Thank you.
And no drugs, alcohol, weapons, or guns while on bond.
And Your Honor, what about the stay away and no further contact?
Oh, yes. And to stay away is at 3175 Middleton Road. That's
That
the victim. Is that the home where
is correct. That's the address. Hold on. I just want to confirm. Yes, 3175 Middleton Road.
All right, stay away from there and no further contact with the victim. Is it Shakuria Bowser?
Jaquaria Bowser, Your Honor.
Shakuria Bowser.
Mhm.
All right. And then we'll do 7 and 20 next. Position 7, that's the 24 CR 0033336G. 2 counts of simple battery family violence. We already have the history, 4 cycles. Go ahead, state.
Yes, Your Honor. This incident happened May 28th, 2024 at 3076 Dogwood Drive in East Point. The defendant struck Miss Yasmin Woods multiple times with a closed fist and shoved her in the head and upper torso. When questioned by police, the defendant did admit to striking her during the altercation. The officers did observe signs of disturbance. Items were knocked off the dresser, the gaming system had been knocked onto the floor, and the mattress had shifted. We are requesting a $1,500 surety bond. We are also requesting stay away from 3076 Dogwood Drive in East Point. No further contact with Yasmin Wood, and 1 day anger awareness. That's all for the state. And the 1,500, it would be, and actually I apologize because I did make an additional count. So it'd be 1,500 surety bond on count 1. Count 2 would be a $1,500 signature bond for a total of a $3,000 split bond.
All right.
Your Honor, my understanding was this was a dual arrest.
That is correct.
Okay. Your Honor, I would ask a total signature bond for my client. My client maintains that he was not the aggressor in this situation, Your Honor. And he has no violent history whatsoever. So I would ask the court to give him a straight signature bond on these 2 counts. Nothing further, Your Honor.
All right. Yeah, for the split bond, not going anywhere anyway. I'll do the 3,000 signature bond on the 2 counts of simple battery. Signature bond through the jail, 1,500 on each. No drugs, alcohol, weapons, or guns while on bond. Stay away from 3076 Dogwood Drive. And I'm going to order no further contact with the cross defendant and our victim, Jasmine Wood. No drugs, alcohol, guns, or weapons while on bond. Guess that'll be it.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, Your Honor. And just for the clerk, the spelling of her first name is Yasmin, Yazmin.
Got it. Thank you.
Thank you. And if the jail has position 20, could we bring Miss Wood up so that we could address her case?
PD Kim, is Ms. Wood there?
No.
Oh,
ACDC?
she ACDC?
Yes, Your Honor.
Huh?
She's at ACDC, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Okay. Have they signed on? I don't think so. Have they? I don't see.
It does not appear
as of yet.
No, they
Yeah, I
haven't.
don't see them.
All right, next we have position number 12, Mr. Nelson.
'24 CR 003344A, Paul Nelson, charged with 1 count of battery family violence pretrial.
26. Got an open drug case out of Fayette County. In Fulton, I see an open ag assault, strangulation, ag assault, terrorist threats, cruelty, trespass, simple assault. It's 24 SC 001404. 2022 FTA, 2022 battery conviction. 2020 obstruction, disorderly conduct conviction, 2020 domestic assault, criminal damage to property. That's in another state. 2019 FTA. See 2 family offenses from 2018 and a 2018 disorderly conduct conviction.
All right. State.
Your Honor, this incident took place May 29th, 2024. Officers responded to 3086 Lone Oak Avenue Southwest in Atlanta in reference to a fight. Upon arrival, the officers made contact with the victim, Mr. Charles Nelson. Mr. Nelson advised that the defendant is his brother and they live together at the residence. He says the defendant was intoxicated and yelling at his mother, whose name is Miss Reby Nelson. The victim confronted his brother about yelling at his mom, and the defendant threw the victim down to the ground and sat on top of him while continuing to wrestle with him. The victim sustained multiple lacerations to his neck and fingers, and his shirt was also torn. The defendant is out on bond, judge, for the ag assault strangulation case that pretrial was talking about, and the victim in that case is his mother, Miss Reby Nelson, who was obviously at the residence when this happened. He was ordered to stay away from that residence as a condition of the bond in his felony case. And he was also ordered to have no further contact with his mother. So I'm really curious why he's living there and why he's having contact with the mother, and also starting a fight with his brother, who is not a victim in that case, Judge. However, you did hear from pretrial that he does have an extensive domestic violence history from the state of Alabama, and he also has a battery conviction from 2022 in Georgia, as well as a couple FTAs. Our office has been in touch with the victim, Mr. Nelson. He said they're brothers. They live together at the incident location, confirmed the events in the warrant. He said that the defendant needs help with his drinking. He stated that there's multiple cases in Fulton County involving violence against other family members. They are not in fear and want him to return back to the residence. And Your Honor, based on what I just said, the state's recommendation is obviously going to be that he continues to stay away from that residence. He's not supposed to be there anyway. The state is recommending, based on his history and his open ag assault strangulation case, a $7,500 surety bond on the battery, and no further contact with his brother, a stay away from the incident location, family violence intervention, no weapons, drugs, or alcohol while out on bond. And I believe the victim is on the line. If we could sound for Mr. Charles Nelson.
All right, Charles Nelson. I see a Paul Nelson Senior.
I believe that's his father.
Did you all wish to answer a few questions for the court, Mr. Nelson? You'll have to unmute yourself.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
I can.
Okay.
Your
This,
son,
this is,
hold on. Is your son there, Charles Nelson?
yes, he went back in
Yes,
to
I'm
try
here.
to-
I'm here. I'm here right here.
Okay, he got it. He got
Okay.
it now.
I see Mr. Nelson. And so the victims in this particular case are Charles Nelson.
Yeah.
And I'm assuming you're there with your wife, is
Yes.
it Rebe Nelson? Okay.
Yes.
And so in this particular case, I don't have the two of you listed as victims. I know you're witnesses. And I want to remind you, this is not the trial. And so this is the bond hearing. So I'm going to ask Charles Nelson first, 2 questions, and I may or may not need to hear from you, Mr. Nelson. I think I have a good feel of what's going on. So Mr. Charles Nelson, raise your right hand for me.
Yes.
You affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the truth and nothing but the truth under the penalty
Yes.
of perjury?
Yes.
All right, and you're the victim in this particular case today. Do you want to have any further contact with your is it brother Paul Nelson?
Yes, I do. He's my best friend. We have jobs together. I won't contact with him. It's no problem with me and him.
Can you all live in the house together and not have to call the police again?
I didn't call the police. It wasn't me. I didn't even know the police was coming.
Were you having an altercation or some sort with your brother?
Yes, we were just wrestling around playing, and I guess somebody else called them and they thought it was something else.
How old are you?
I'm 36.
Okay. And how old's your brother?
He's about 39 or 30, about 39.
Okay, so you all were playing in wrestling?
Yes, it was just playing. We always play around.
Okay. All right. And the home is owned by your parents?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right. And are you in fear of your brother?
Oh, no, nothing like that. Nothing like that.
Okay. All right. You can mute yourself. Any cross-examination questions by the state?
I'll be brief, Your Honor. I do have a couple questions.
Okay, Mr. Nelson, hold on. Don't mute yourself. Charles Nelson, that is.
Oh, mute. She said mute myself.
Don't mute.
Oh, don't.
Oh, don't. Okay.
The state has some other questions for you.
Mr. Nelson, can you hear me?
Yes.
At the time that you and your brother were wrestling, was your brother being mean to your mom?
No.
He wasn't verbally abusing her?
No, it wasn't nothing like that.
Did you tell the police that she was verbally abusing her?
No, I didn't even call the police. The police just showed up.
Okay, and
My
you
mom
live
didn't have-
at,
Huh?
go
Say it
ahead.
again. You
Go
can go
ahead.
ahead. You can go.
You live at the 3086 Lone Oak Avenue?
Yes.
And how long has your brother lived there with you there?
For a while. He goes back to my sister's house and he comes and he stays.
Okay. And does your mom live there with you?
Yes.
Okay. And are you aware that your brother has several domestic violence cases from the state of Alabama?
Yes, I know. Yes.
Are you the victim in any of those cases?
No.
Do you know who the victim is? Is it your family members? Who is it?
There's nobody in my family. He's been doing good. He just was drinking a little bit because it was the Memorial Day and everybody was drinking and it just got out of hand a little bit and we just started wrestling. It wasn't nothing like that. He's been doing good. We've been working together. We worked at a temp service together. We work together all the time and we do good together. It was just cops coming and we didn't know why they were there and it was crazy.
So you don't know who called the police?
No.
Still
Okay, that's all the questions I have for this witness, Your Honor.
All right. Mr. Nelson Senior, can you mute yourself? I don't have any other questions for you. I don't really need any comments right now. Let me hear from the Public Defender's Office, and then I'll decide whether I need to hear any testimony from you, okay? Just hold out for a second. Go ahead, PD Atai.
Yes, Your Honor, my client is 39 years old. He does deny the allegations as stated in the warrant and states what the complaining witness has said, that there was nothing going on. The complaining witness stated to me that he didn't call the police. He has lived in Georgia. Well, he's a Georgia resident. I'm not sure how many years he's been here, and he is gainfully employed. He works through HireQuest, a staffing agency. Let's see. He has a different address, Your Honor. He doesn't live there, so we wouldn't object to a stay away. And I understand that there is some history, but due to the nature of the allegations here, I would ask for a signature bond through pretrial services. I believe he's recommended for a pretrial services bond at level 3. And he is able to report, and he is not a flight risk. He will return to court. He has strong ties to the community. His whole family is here. So I would ask for a signature bond through pretrial services, and the stay away from that incident location is fine. And I would ask for no violent contact with his brother, since that is also the request of Charles Nelson. Nothing further.
Your Honor,
Right.
before you rule, I'd like to add to my recommendation, ADET, based on the victim's father's statements that the defendant has a serious drinking problem and is violent.
I thought you didn't hear from the victim's father.
We did. That's who our office spoke with.
Oh, so your office and the victim's father spoke
Well,
to.
I should clarify, Judge. When we called the victim, it was the victim and the father that were on the line. So some of it stating that no one's afraid of him and they want him to return and all of that, that was the victim in this case. And then the father said that the defendant has an issue with his drinking. So I just want to make clear for the record that the state's recommending a $7,500 surety bond, and no further contact with the victim, a stay away from the incident location, FEIP, ADET, no weapons, drugs, or alcohol while on bond.
Okay, I don't want to belabor the bond hearing too much longer. And I know it's the home of Mr. Nelson Senior and Reby Nelson, and we've got other cases and things of that nature. And PD Atai, you stated that Paul Nelson, I guess Jr., he has a different address.
Yes, he does, Your Honor. He lives with his sister and her 2 children.
Okay. All right, I'm ready to rule. I'm going to order a $7,500 surety bond. This battery, I am very concerned about the history, the open cases, and for the safety of all the family members. And for the safety of Mr. Nelson, Charles Nelson, even though you may not have called the police, somebody thought it was going too far.
Yeah.
And when alcohol is mixed in, sometimes that makes it a little more dangerous. So I'm going to order a $7,500 surety bond. At this point, I'm going to order no drugs, no alcohol, no weapons or guns while on bond. I'm going to order a stay away from 3086 Sloan Oak. I think, is it Road, maybe?
Is Avenue.
Oh, Avenue.
Mhm.
And that is the home of Paul Senior and Reby Nelson. He needs to stay away so there can be the ample cooling down period. And I guess go stay somewhere else to make sure that everyone's going to be safe. I'm going to order no further contact with Charles Nelson, and looks like no further contact with Reby Nelson, or that bond will be revoked anyway, because he shouldn't have had any contact with his mom. Probably his dad too, but certainly his mom. with the
Can,
open cases.
can I say
And
something?
no, and I think that's all out of order at this point. And so, Mr. Nelson, I understand it's your brother and it's your best friend, but right now I'm doing what our duty is to make sure that you all are safe and that we're not going to have any more incidents. And your brother is already out on
There's
other
no
bonds.
incidents. There was no incidents or nothing like that.
Well, that will be argued later in the case, okay? But right now we need to cool it down and get everybody separated and apart, so that we can make sure that there won't be any more incidents. The only way to do that is everybody to separate and stay apart. And wait till everyone calms down, okay? So I'm gonna order him.
Can my brother say something?
Which brother? The defendant? No, I'm sure his attorney's gonna tell him to be quiet and not make any statements against his interest that would hurt his case. And you can't advocate for that. PD Atai, do you want your client to speak?
No, he can speak with me later.
Can I speak? Can my dad speak? He was just saying.
Maybe for 1 second. The only question I have, and Mr. Nelson, raise your right hand for me. Do you affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the truth and nothing but the truth under the penalty of perjury?
Yes, ma'am, I do.
All right. This is your home on Sloan Oak Avenue?
Yes, ma'am.
All right.
Throughout the years, he's gotten into a few incidents, but it's that last case he had been doing well up until the holiday, helping out around the house, cooking for his mother. He had been working at a temporary service. He had been doing well, but the holiday, I mean, he was really focused this time. And at the holiday, he got around family members, everybody drinking and passing them drinks, and he just drunk too much.
Okay.
And
I
every time
understand.
he goes, I bail him out, and I just can't afford to bail him out. I just wish you could, cause I mean, I just wish you could even lower the bail a little more, so when I do get him out, it just doesn't just break me, cause I'm gonna get him out. I mean, we love him dearly. He's a different person when he's not drinking. He's
I
just the
understand that he should
sweetest,
have
kindest person.
well, if he's a different person, he should have had the fortitude himself not to drink if he knows what happens, and you all shouldn't have been passing him drinks, or whoever shouldn't have been passing
I
him
don't
drinks.
drink at all, so I
Okay,
didn't
well
pass
then
him.
but then the drinks were at your house. So,
No, it was at a family's member house.
okay, so the incident location is not at 3086 Sloan Oak Avenue?
Well, the incident happened here, but that's not when he started back to drinking, wasn't it?
Okay, well, you all need to help him to stay off drinking. I would order him to go to AA meetings, or,
I
I'm not
wish
gonna order
you
the
would do
ADHD.
something like that.
You want me to order that? I'll order him to go to AA meetings. I won't order the ADET because it's expensive and I don't want to keep breaking you to pay for it. But I will
Okay.
order him to go to AA meetings twice a week at least, if not more.
Um,
Add that to the order, Ms. Bridgewater.
Your Honor, I would ask if there's going to be conditions like that he can have a signature bond through pretrial services.
No, I'm not going to change the bond because of that. When he gets out, Dad said he's going to bail him out, so he'll get out. I'm not going to lower it because I think he needs to learn a lesson here. His history is horrible. 26 cycles in Alabama and Georgia, and he's got an open felony against his mother. And you're
He's been
saying he
doing
loves her
good. He's
dearly.
been doing real good.
Well, I'm sorry he's had a relapse. He needs to be a little stronger. Maybe he needs that counseling through AA and a sponsor to help him with the alcohol so that he doesn't do anything else to his mother or family members. So he's got to get himself under control and have a little more willpower. So I'm going to leave the ruling as it is, but I'm going to add the AA meetings.
And that's twice monthly?
Twice a week.
Twice a week, okay.
Mm-hmm. All right, that's all for this case.
Judge.
Thank you. Yes.
Real quick, PD Kim, PD Atai. Due to the nature of some of the criminal history that your clients have, they're not necessarily recommended for pretrial. It's just that there's a level attached to everybody if the judge was to give them a signature bond. That's all it is. But he's not recommended for a signature bond with his criminal history. I just wanted y'all to know that because I know a lot of times y'all will say they recommend it and the history be kind of bad, but they're not recommended. It's just that's what the level pretrial asking for if the judge was to give them a signature bond. That's all it is.
Okay,
do
thank you. I've said before to you too, that when we get the pretrial reports, like for him, I mean,
said
I
level
got a
3, I
pretrial
know.
report. It says level 3 and
It
it says
did.
one misdemeanor conviction. So I don't see all of that stuff that you know you say. So I am only aware of that 10 seconds before we start.
I'm just letting y'all know though, so you know.
No, I do
But yeah.
appreciate the clarification too. Because you know, I obviously get the argument, well, judge, they recommend it. Well, in my you know, Ayala factors and review and gut for that, there's no way.
Yeah, the judge would know based on the history that me or the state reads whether or not they are recommended. But yeah, I'm just letting y'all know, just so you know. That's all.
Thank you. Thank you for that. All right, let's move on to the next case, please.
Next, we have position number 13, Mr. Otero.
Okay. This is 24 CR 003345Y. Jesse Otero, charge of one count. Mr. Nelson, can you all kick him out of the Zoom, please? Thank you. Mr. Otero is charged of one count of battery.
Second arrest, 07 suspended license. Jail was a recommendation for this.
Judge, this incident took place May 29th, 2024, around 3 in the morning. Officers responded to 1615 Jones Road in reference to a dispute. Upon arrival, they made contact with the victim, Ingmar Bershi, who stated that he was asleep when his girlfriend's husband showed up honking his horn and knocking loudly. It's my understanding that his girlfriend and her husband are separated. The girlfriend and her son were asleep at the residence. The victim answered the door. The defendant demanded to know where his son was. The victim told the defendant that he could wait at the top of the driveway and he would send his son out when the defendant attacked him. The victim had a bloody mouth and a cut knee. The defendant also had some injuries because there was a scuffle. He told the police he was defending himself. However, the police determined that the defendant was the primary aggressor. Our office has been in touch with the victim in this case. He stated that he is dating the defendant's wife, but they are separated. He said the incident location is his residence. He confirmed the events in the warrant. He said this is actually the first time he's ever met the defendant. And after this incident, he criminally trespassed him from his residence. He wants no contact and wants the defendant to stay away. The state is recommending a signature bond through pretrial and no further contact with the victim. Stay away from the incident location, anger awareness, no weapons, drugs, or alcohol while out on bond. And if we could sound for Mr. Bershi, Ingmar Bershi.
All right, Mr. Ingmar Bershi.
I may be mispronouncing that.
Yes, Mr. Bershi, or all right. Go ahead, state.
Oh, actually, I will.
Oh, PD Kim, I'm sorry.
Yes, Your Honor. Mr. Otero is actually, he was the one who called the police because he was defending himself. He does have an injury. I think the officer probably made a wrong choice. People make mistakes, Your Honor. He has no objection to stay away from his the complaining witnesses' places. My client is gainfully employed as assistant general manager at one of the restaurants, and as a family, they are still taking care of 2 children together, even though they're separated, 8 and 15, according to the agreement. The children were not supposed to be going to his place. He has some college education, Your Honor. We would like to request for a signature on bond through jail, as Mr. Howard said, he is recommended for that. So that's what we strongly recommend for. Thank you.
Your Honor, if I could just briefly respond to Ms. Kim's comment about the officer being mistaken. Obviously, when I give factual basis, we are summarizing what happened. The officer did put in the warrant that the reason that he arrested the defendant in particular and not the victim was based on the totality of the circumstances. He showed up at this guy's house at 3 a.m. He was honking his horn, flashing his lights, banging on his door. And then the victim stated that the defendant attacked him and there was a scuffle. And the officer looked around the house and there was a scuffle in the foyer, which would suggest that the defendant went into his home when he wasn't welcome and attacked him. And based on all of that and the injuries and the time of day and just the entire situation, the officer determined that it was the defendant who was the primary aggressor.
Okay. All right, I will. I don't like the facts, but I understand the situation. And since it's only his second arrest, I'm going to reluctantly order a $3,500 signature bond. I'm going to order that signature bond through the jail. And I'm going to be very firm, Mr. Otero, for you to stay away from 1615 Jones Road. I don't kind of want to get into what the adults are doing and what else is going on. I'm not for sure why there's not a cruelty charge added to this, but maybe that'll come later. But I want you to stay away. I want you to have no further contact with Mr. however we pronounce his name, Ingram Bershey. And you are to be 200 yards away from him. You'd have no contact with him through third parties or any other means, computer, email, or else you'll be back here in jail. No drugs, alcohol, weapons, or guns while on bond. And although I'm giving you the signature bond through jail, I was going to order an anger awareness course because maybe you have the means to pay for it, but I'll hold off on that for now. But need you to get your emotions in check and make sure that this is cooling down and that there won't be any other incidents, even in regard to this situation. Okay. All right. Thank you.
And Your Honor, just to answer your inquiry, the reason there wasn't a cruelty charge is because the son actually slept through this entire incident. He didn't witness any of it.
Okay. Is it a small child?
I believe he's a teenager. I don't have
his. And 15, Your Honor.
Yeah.
He's 15. Maybe what I'll do. Okay, he's 15 years old. Maybe what I'll do is just change it through pretrial.
Your Honor, I don't think they should be changing at this point, Your Honor. They were.
Why? Whenever he wasn't one of the court trial. I'm sorry.
We don't know who was there at the time. They have 2 children, but we don't know which one was there. We have no information about which child was there. And as solicitor said, they slept through. Nobody witnessed anything. I don't think they should be changed at this point. Please.
I'm not basing it on whether the children were there. It sounds like a volatile incident. If he's got a girlfriend or wife that's somewhere else, it sounds like there's some bigger issues going on. Don't know that this is over. So I was having those concerns because I wanted him to take an anger management course. Unless he wants to do that on his own, I'll do it through jail. He can probably pay for it. It's not a bunch of money to take an anger awareness course.
He doesn't mind taking a course separately.
Okay, good. All right, well, I'll order it through the jail and he can take a 1-day anger awareness course while he's out on bond to deal with his emotions and stay away and no drugs, alcohol, weapons, or guns while on bond.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right.
Next, we have position number 9, Mr. Johnson.
This is 24 CR 003339J, Timothy Johnson, charged at 1 count of simple assault. Pretrial.
Fourth adult arrest. He got an open case out of car theft by receiving, possession of a pistol or revolver by person under 18. Open case out of Cobb County contributed to delinquency of a minor, obstruction, entering auto with the intent to commit theft or a felony. 2024 FTA. I think he only 18. That's all I have. I don't know if the state got more.
Okay.
I just have those 4, Judge, and I do have that he turned 18 about 2 weeks ago.
Oh, just turned 18.
Mhm.
Okay.
And Your Honor, this incident took place on November 23rd, 2023. Officers responded to the McDonald's at 2091 Metropolitan Parkway in reference to a dispute. Upon arrival, the officers met with the victim, Brene Peterson. Ms. Peterson is an employee of the McDonald's. She stated that while she was working there, this person that she knows, the defendant, threw a cup full of Coke and Sprite at her. Apparently, they know each other from school or whatever, and there's some kind of internet dispute going on. Our office just got in touch with her right before court. She stated that she is 16. She no longer works at this McDonald's. She stated that the group of friends that she hangs out with and the defendant hangs out with do not like each other, and there's a lot of, quote, beef going on between them. She stated that she's never personally had any issues or arguments with this person before this incident, but she does not want to see him or speak to him. She wants no contact. And I guess they used to be coworkers at this McDonald's, and she no longer works there. So the state is recommending a signature bond through pretrial and no further contact with the victim, anger awareness, no weapons, drugs, or alcohol while out on bond. And if we could sound for, I guess, the parents of Miss Peterson, if they're on the line.
Anyone on Zoom with Miss Peterson or parents of Miss Peterson? All right. So at the time of this incident, he was 17, because this was last year.
Correct.
Okay. All right. Go ahead, PD Atai. Oh,
Yes,
or
Your Honor.
PD Kim. Oh,
It's me.
okay. Okay.
Yes, Your Honor, my client is only 18 years old. He has lived in Georgia all his life. He is enrolled right now to get his GED. And he is gainfully employed. He does live at home with his mother and his brother. And his mother's on the line. I thought he would need a parent cosigner. So I have no objection to the signature bond through pretrial services. And no further contact and a stay away. I would object to the anger awareness. He's charged with a simple assault here, and he does deny the allegations as stated in the warrant, and this happened in November of last year. And I'm not sure, does pretrial want a parent cosigner or not?
Yeah, he might be getting a good bond. I don't know. I mean, he wasn't recommended on my end due to
Well,
the
the
fact
state,
that
the state asked for a signature bond through pretrial services, and I do think that that makes
Well,
sense. He's
I
charged
don't know
with
what she gonna order yet though. Let her finish. You can
Yeah.
finish.
Is he just turned 18 2 weeks ago. Well, it sounds like he has a job. He's working on a GED, but he still lives at home, so he's not probably self-sufficient. Sounds like he's a dependent still. And was he supposed to graduate in May and he's just doing the GED? Is that what's going on?
Yeah.
Where's the mom? Who's the mother for Mr. Johnson? Are you on the Zoom? Is that you, Ms. Bynes?
Miss Bynes is his mother, Your Honor.
Yes, it looks like she's trying to get off mute. She's walking around. Ms. Bynes, can you turn your microphone on? All right, I'm not going to wait while you figure this out, but we're going to have his mom to co-sign for him. I'll do a signature bond through pretrial. And it looks like her name is Portia Bynes, B-Y-N-E-S.
Yes.
I'll make that a $2,500 signature bond through pretrial.
And it's
And
gonna,
I guess he'll be, what is he, level 1 or?
that's whatever you order. It's gonna be per judge because this history extensive. To get 4
Yeah.
arrests at 17 years old, nah. So it's whatever you order, judge.
All right, I will order him to be level 1. But I will order him to complete his GED program. I'm gonna order him to take a 2-day anger awareness course. And I'm going to say to him, I wish we had a course that taught about the social media beefing, not liking people and all of that. Because I believe that the cell phone has brought us to a crazy level with this social media and not liking people on that and all kinds of things of that nature. So he needs to calm that down so that you don't get any other arrests because of it. And so stay away from the McDonald's on Metropolitan. No further contact, and I mean no further contact with this victim, Miss Peterson. Whether you like her or don't like her, stay away from her, else you'll be back here in jail. You're to be 200 yards away from her. You're not to contact her through any form. No cell phone messages, no text messages, no third parties, and definitely no social media, no emails or anything. I would say no pagers. You don't even know what a pager is probably, but
Hello?
yes. All right, Miss Bynes, you hear what I'm ordering for your son?
No, I just got back on.
All right, it's a $2,500 signature bond through pretrial. He's got to report to pretrial. I'm almost going to increase his level, but I understand he's working, so I'll try to give him a chance at that. But he needs to know that he is now 18. He needs to act like an adult. He is to report he's level 1. They'll explain that to you. You can co-sign for his bond.
Can you make that level 2? Make it level 2, please.
Make it level 2, right? Let's
What's
do
the
level.
difference between the levels? I don't even know.
How many times they report in the month, right?
Correct.
So we want him to report into pretrial twice a month. He is to take a 2-day anger awareness course. He is to not contact Miss Peterson by any means. Stay 200 yards away from her. No more social media posts about Miss Peterson, or I'm going to say any of her friends, because it sounds like there's some negative beef going on social media that needs to stop. And with his history, I'm really not inclined to do a signature bond, but I will. I'm reluctant, but I'm hoping that he's going to grow up now. And he's ordered to finish his GED program and get his GED. I wonder, do I need to put him on a curfew?
Your Honor, I was just about to ask for that because I just looked at the incident report. It looks like he showed up at the McDonald's about 10 o'clock at night and did this, so the curfew is appropriate.
All right, let me put him on a curfew. He should be home by 11 p.m. to 7 a.m.
And Your Honor, I would just like to ask that if he's working, that the curfew doesn't apply.
No, because where are you working? What time you get off work? What time does he get off work, Mom?
Can you hear me, ma'am?
I can.
Okay.
What time
his
does he
work
get off
for
work?
his work can occur. It can be long hours. I'm his manager, actually. He does music. So if we go to the studio, his work can last from anywhere from 11 p.m., which I'm there, supervised, until maybe an 8-hour block.
Well, while he's on bond and based on his history, unless I change it to a surety bond, he needs to be home by, I'll give him 30 more minutes, 11:30 p.m. while he's on bond.
Change it to the surety bond, ma'am.
I'm sorry?
You can change it to the surety bond.
Do you understand what you're saying?
That I'm gonna pay a cash bond, pay the bond?
It's a signature bond that he can have you to co-sign to let him out. Signature bond on his own recognizance with your backup. Now, if you're not willing to do it, then I will make it a surety bond and he'll sit to the bonding company and get some help. Now, which would you prefer?
I'm asking you, so will he be able to
I'm not your
perform his
attorney. First of
job?
all,
I
first of
don't
all,
know, ma'am.
If you prefer a surety bond, we can ask the judge to set a surety bond instead of
But
the signature bond with the conditions attached.
I'm gonna still attach conditions.
So then
But what
stay
I'm
with,
asking,
You're trying to get out of the conditions. I'm
no,
not
ma'am,
gonna.
I'm not. What I'm trying to ask is clearly, first of all, he supervised at the studio with me, myself. And he has a record deal, so that's his job. But
Well,
and
the
like I'm
problem
saying,
is
I'm
he's
there with
got
him every
criminal
time.
history.
Gunnar, I thought he worked at McDonald's.
Yeah. Said he worked at McDonald's.
nobody said he worked at McDonald's.
I never known for him to work at McDonald's.
Showed up at McDonald's.
It's
Okay.
kind of like they got their facts. It's not right. Like he does not work at McDonald's. He has never worked at McDonald's.
Your
He's
Honor,
a
and I
signed
only,
enforcement order.
I only asked for the curfew not to apply if he's working. I mean, we can extend that to if he's working and his parent co-signer is present.
Well,
Yeah.
I'm honestly not that impressed by his parent co-signer because he's 18 now, and I understand he's only been 18 for 2 weeks. But ma'am, he has a 24 FTA where he didn't show back up in court. He has open cases in Cobb that are concerning with pistols, guns, and dealing with minors. He's just got a criminal history that's not very wonderful. And he's got 4 adult cycles, which leads me to understand that he has juvenile history. So I'm trying to hopefully get him on the right path to hopefully get his life together and not be down here anymore.
Yes,
But if you want to keep him in jail with a surety bond and go through a bonding company, you can do that, and I will do that. And then you can still have these conditions. I want him in the house at 11:30 p.m. and he can get out at 7 a.m. while he's on bond, so that he understands that this is serious and he needs to, get his self together and not have any more criminal cases. And so he's going to be a level 2 to report to pretrial. And are you going to sign him out with this bond, Ms.
Yes,
Bynes?
yes, ma'am.
Okay. And so they will give you that information. You'll need a photo ID. I won't require and I think we don't require the utility bills anymore. But you need to explain to him that it's time to act 18, and the curfew will be in place. He has got to report twice a month to pretrial, and no drugs, no alcohol, no weapons, no guns while on bond. He is to stay off of social media. He is not to contact this victim on social media or any of her friends, or this beef that's going on between groups of people. To stay
Your Honor,
200 yards away.
is the order to not contact via social media with the complaining
I'm
witness?
sorry, I might have said stay off social media. He might need to. That might be
Well,
smart.
excuse me, ma'am, we have a
go that
record
far.
deal and a
Hold on.
record company
I
that
don't care about that right now. He is a defendant in a criminal case. So I don't care about what he needs to do for his
that's his
social media
job.
presence. Well, he needs to maybe try something else if it's going to get him in trouble.
He's on a contract, ma'am. He's on a contract.
Ma'am, please unmute her, please.
They done judged him already.
I'm not judging him. I'm going with the facts and the allegations that I have in this case. So he can get on social media, but he better keep it clean and keep it straight. I will say that. Positive social media. But not to be beefing with this victim and any of her friends and another circle of people through social media. He needs to stop that. So if he's on social media because he has a record deal, then keep it positive to his music, which would then not violate anything with Miss Peterson or her friends beefing on social media. I'm trying to calm this down. I've got the 11:30 to 7 a.m. curfew, which he needs to abide by. Pretrial will be checking on him to make sure he does. He's a level 2, might increase it to a level 3, but I'll leave it at a level 2. He is to have no drugs, guns, alcohol, or weapons in his presence while he's on bond. He is to finish his GED. And I think that is it. Anything else, council?
What's that amount?
2,500.
Did you say stay away from the McDonald's?
Yes, stay away from the McDonald's on Metropolitan.
Okay.
All right, next case.
Next, we have position number 3, Mr. Crosby.
And Ms. Bynes, you can sign off now. Thank you. This is Harold Crosby, 24 CR 003341E. Charged with 1 count of simple battery family violence. Pretrial.
15 total. Last arrest was like 2011 probation. I didn't see any violent convictions.
Okay.
I'll take this one at level 1.
Okay. All right, state.
Yes, Your Honor. This incident happened May 29th, 2024 at 1410 Old Riverside Road in Roswell. Dina Crosby stated she was sleeping and woke up to the defendant, her husband, standing over her and trying to grab her phone. They did begin wrestling over the phone, and according to Ms. Crosby, the defendant began to choke her. She stated she felt her airway being restricted and that it was hard to breathe. Ms. Crosby then stated that she pushed the defendant off of her, ran into her daughter's room to use the phone, which was dead, and then ran into the bathroom and called 911. When asked, the defendant did admit to police that he stood over her while she was sleeping and was trying to check her phone. And at that point, she woke up startled. He also admitted he was trying to get the phone up to her face to open the phone, but claimed a push was the only physical contact between them. We did have an opportunity to speak with Ms. Dina Crosby, Your Honor. She and the defendant are married. They live together at the incident location. They do share a child. She did confirm the events in the warrant. She also stated that the defendant grabbed her by the neck with one hand and picked her up off the floor and began to apply pressure to her neck. She stated she was not able to breathe, but she did not feel like she was going to lose consciousness. She said that this is the first time that the defendant has been violent to her. And she furthermore stated that she is in fear of the defendant and does not wish to have contact with the defendant. She wants the defendant to stay away from the residence. She does not agree to third-party transfer of their child, and he will need a one-time law enforcement escort to retrieve his belongings. I will state that the defendant does have 3 cycles in Georgia, 1 cycle in California, which was a 2006 DUI, 2 felony convictions in Virginia, theft by receiving in 2007, fleeing and eluding in 2007, a 2008 larceny conviction, a 2009 assault and battery family violence, which was dismissed in 2009, 6 cycles in Ohio, trafficking drugs in 2006, which was dismissed, 2005 drug possession, which it was conviction, and a 2005 carrying concealed weapon conviction. Due to the circumstances of this case, as well as his varied multi-state history, we are asking for a $5,000 surety bond, no further contact with Dina Crosby, stay away from 1410 Old Riverside Road in Roswell, no alcohol, drugs, or weapons. We're furthermore asking for family violence intervention program and a one-time police escort to retrieve belongings. I will state that we did recommend this case to the DA's office. We have not yet received a response as to whether this case will be escalated to an aggravated assault strangulation based on the facts. That's all for the state. We would like to sound for Ms. Dina Crosby in case she wishes to speak.
All right, Ms. Dina Crosby, do you wish to briefly answer a few questions for the court today?
Sure.
I'm sorry?
Yes.
Okay, raise your right hand for me so I can swear you in. Do you affirm that the testimony that you're about to give is the truth and nothing but the truth under the penalty of perjury?
Yes.
All right, put your hand down for me. Are you in fear of Mr. Crosby?
Yes.
Do you want to have any further contact with Mr. Crosby?
No.
Okay, those are all the questions I have. Any cross-examination by the state?
No, Your Honor.
All right. And who's, you can mute yourself, Ms. Crosby. Okay, PD Kim, I'm sorry.
Okay, Your Honor, Mr. Crosby is gainfully employed as a supervisor at JC Penney. Your Honor, he is responsible for paying for the children. He has been here in Georgia for more than 3 years. He does have a bachelor's degree from ITT Technical College in Ohio. He does have an electrical engineering degree, Your Honor. We would like to request for signature on bond as he is recommended by pretrial Mr. Howard. I think that's what I heard, right, Mr. Howard? He is recommended. So that's what we would like. We have no objection to stay away and no further contact with Ms. Dina Crosby, Your Honor.
All right. I will order a $3,500 signature bond through pretrial per judge level 1. I will order a stay away from the incident location. Excuse me, stay away. I will order no further contact with the victim, Ms. Dina Crosby. I will also order him to take a 2-day anger awareness course through pretrial. No drugs, alcohol, weapons, or guns while on bond. That should be it.
Officer asked for a visit to retrieve his personal belongings, Your Honor, and there was a third-party transfer for his 5-year-old child.
All right, one-time law enforcement escort back to the property. Do not go back to the property without law enforcement, Mr. Crosby, but you can go back one time with their escort to retrieve your personal items. I don't know about, I guess since they were married, this is his child. I don't know about ordering, I don't like to sometimes, the visitation, but if so, if it is allowed, it has to be obviously facilitated by a third party because there's no contact between the parties. So I will leave that up to Ms. Crosby.
May I
But
make
if
ask a question?
Yeah.
I am concerned about my daughter being taken away out of state, which has happened recently without my permission. I would request that my daughter, there be no third party transportation granted, given the fact that she has been transported out of the state without permission recently. And I'm concerned that she could possibly be not returned.
And
all
Your
right. So
Honor, oh, sorry, I didn't mean to
go ahead,
interrupt you.
Deputy Clark.
I was going to say the state did put on the record that we do object to third party transfer of the child. I believe that the civil system is more than capable of handling any kind of visitation, and it needs to be structured through the courts to ensure there's safety for both parties.
I agree. All right. I will not order that. I will remove that from the order, Ms. Bridgewater, and we will allow the civil family law process to deal with visitation.
I'm sorry, Your Honor, will you repeat that?
To remove that third party transfer of the child, remove that from the order.
I will.
Okay. And so I'm not going to address any visitation order, so nothing is ordered by me. And then you all will go through the civil family law system regarding that.
Was there, was Miss the child at that incident location at incident time?
Yes.
She was.
Yes, she's reenacting the events as they took place daily, by hour.
All right, we'll get you some help in that regard. All right, Ms. Crosby.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Did I say no drugs, alcohol, weapons, or guns while on bond?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. That is it.
It should go pretty fast, these last two. Okay. Okay. You're good, you're good. Next, we have position number 16, Mr. Robinson.
Okay.
What number is this?
16. 16. This is 24 CR 003349G. John Robinson, charged at 1 count of battery family violence.
23 total. I got a 06 ag assault dead docket. 04 disorderly conduct conviction. Jail was a recommendation.
All right, state.
Your Honor, this incident took place May 29th, 2024. Officers responded to a fight in progress at 14 Gertrude Place in Atlanta. Upon arrival, they met with the victim, Tajane Bush, who advised that her great uncle was demanding the keys to the house. And the child told him that, she's a child, I'm sorry. She told him that she had to hold the keys for her dad for when he gets off work. The defendant got upset. He pushed the victim, caused her face to hit the wall, leaving a bruise on her left cheek. And then he began striking the victim with a closed fist. The victim had swelling, bruising, and bleeding from her hands. The defendant admitted to punching his niece, and the niece and the father have been staying with the great uncle, the defendant, for the last 2 months. Our office has been in touch with the victim, Your Honor. She is 16. She said she's the defendant's niece. She stated the incident location is her great grandmother's home, who passed away, and then left the home to the defendant and her grandmother. She stated that she has been staying there, and the defendant keeps locks on the door. So if you don't have a key, then you can't get in and out of the home. She stated that her father left her his key so that she could go in and out if she needed to go get something to eat. The defendant was upset because he wanted the key. She did not want to give him the key because her dad said that he would not have a way to get back in. I guess the defendant wanted to leave the residence at the time. She stated that the grandmother came to the location to pick her up because the situation was escalating. When her grandmother arrived, she tried to walk out the door, and the defendant hit her, pushed her to the ground, and they began tussling over the key. She said he also punched her in the face. She has since left the incident location and is now staying with her grandmother. She does not plan to return to the residence, and she wants no contact with the defendant. The state is recommending a $3,000 surety bond, no further contact with the victim, anger awareness, no weapons, drugs, or alcohol while out on bond. And if we could sound, I believe Miss Bush is on the line. I don't know if Your Honor wants to hear from her, or maybe her parents, but I believe she is on the Zoom. Tajane Bush.
And she's how old?
She's 16, Judge.
Where is Miss Bush? Tajane Bush. Hello? Not answering. All right, let's move on.
Yes.
PD Kim.
Yes, Your Honor. My client, Mr. Robinson, is 74 years old, Your Honor, and the house is in his name. And I believe since she moved out, my client should be able to go home. And he is widowed and retired. He is living with a Social Security income. He has actually a very serious medical condition, and he has a bad back. He walks with a cane. He has education up to 12th grade. He's planning to file for eviction because of the sister's son, who is residing there and refused to leave. So I guess that's the only way that he will get his peace. We also want to ask for a signature on bond through jail as he is recommended. So, Your Honor.
Trying to see if the victim wants to speak or not. I know she's maybe listening. Miss Bush.
I'm here.
All right, how old are you?
I'm 16.
You have an adult there with you?
Yes, my grandmother.
Where's she?
She's
I'm
right
right
here.
here.
All right, what's your grandmother's name?
Her
Yvonne Bush.
All right. And grandma, you're an adult over 18, is that correct?
Absolutely.
Okay. Miss Bush, Tajane, do you wish to address the court today?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, she has your permission to do that, Miss Bush?
Yes, ma'am.
No, talk to your grandmother.
Oh, yes, she has my permission. Yes.
Okay. Raise your right hand, Tajane. Do you affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the truth and nothing but the truth under the penalty of perjury?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, put your hand down, please. Are you in fear of Mr. John Robinson, your uncle?
Yes.
Do you want to have any further contact with your uncle?
No.
Okay. And so, Miss Bush grandma, does Mr. Robinson live in your home there?
My brother, Mr. Robinson, and I are joint owners of the home since my mother passed.
Mm-hmm. And you all reside there together?
No, we don't. I live in Stone Mountain.
Okay, but you're not residing in the home, although you're joint owners. Joint owners.
That's
Is that correct?
yeah.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
And then Tajane, can she live with you in Stone Mountain and not stay there?
Yes.
Okay. But at the moment, or at the time of the incident, she was staying there.
Yes, at the moment, yes. Her father and she are waiting on an apartment. They'll be moving into their apartment because they got approved.
Oh, okay. So regardless, she'll be moving, but in the interim, she can stay with you since she is
Yeah.
in fear of staying at that location. I'm trying to make sure she has somewhere to go, because I would
Yes.
definitely not want her to go back there. Okay.
Yeah.
Right. And she's still in high school.
She is. Uh-huh.
Okay. All right, just making sure. All right, I don't have any other questions. Anything by the state? Any cross-examination?
No, Your Honor.
Okay. Any questions by the Public Defender's Office by PD Kim?
Only one question. Do you think your son, a father of the TB, do you think he will be moving to your place as well, Stone Mountain?
I'm sorry?
Father of Tom Jane Bush, do you think, yeah, your son, will he be back to your place?
No, he will not. And this is only temporary. They'll be moving into their own place. They have an apartment that the father got. I'm sorry, my son got.
Okay.
Yeah, and so they'll be moving shortly.
Thank you.
All right, go ahead, PD Kim.
Yes, my client, I think I already did, but I would like to request for signature on bond through jail, 74 years old, retired, widowed. That's his place, and obviously complaining witness will not be there. So okay to return to his place as long as he has no objection to stay away. I mean, no further contact with his great niece, Your Honor.
Okay. I will order a $3,500 signature bond through the jail, but let's get these conditions straight, meaning that he is to have no further contact with his niece, Tajane Bush. He is to stay away from this location, 1314, is it Gertrude Place? Until, huh? Hold on a second.
14 Gertrude.
Oh, what is the address?
14 Gertrude Place.
Oh, just 1-4. I'm sorry. I might have missed. Okay, just 1-4, Gertrude Place, 14. But I want Mr. Robinson to stay away until the victim, Miss Tajane Bush, and her father have had a chance to move. It sounds like they won't be moving for 2 weeks. So in that interim, Mr. Robinson needs to stay somewhere else until they have had a chance to move. So I usually order that they go back with the police escort so that the police can sweep the place to make sure that they do not reside there before he can reside there again. So with the police escort, take them back with you so that we can confirm that Ms. Tajane and her father have moved. And I guess 2 weeks, after a certain date, are you going to be able, Grandma, Miss Bush, and what is your first name? I apologize.
Yvonne, Yvonne.
Until Miss Yvonne Bush, can you be in contact with Mr. Robinson to let him know when they have moved? Since it's your brother?
Yes, I can. Uh-huh.
All
He
right.
can call me.
All right, Mr. Robinson, you can call your sister Yvonne Bush to find out when they have moved. Do not go back until they have completely moved, because you're not supposed to have any contact with Tajane Bush. Not be within 200 yards of her, not have any phone contact or anything. Yes, ma'am.
I say something? One of the neighbors across the street by the first name, I only know his first name is Steve. I'm not sure. Anyway, he has the key to the house. Can you order that I get the key, because I don't have a key to the house? And he has the key to the house. And we went in to get some of Taj's things the other day, and we had a hard time getting in. He didn't want to let us in.
But you're a co-owner of the house with Mr. Robinson, but you don't have a key.
Yes, I need a key. I don't have a key.
Mr.
And
Robinson, please get a key made when you
house.
I understand. I'm sorry?
This is a civil matter, but with two owners, I don't think it has to do with our criminal case, Your Honor.
Well, I'm concerned about Miss Tajane being able to get her items out of the home if she doesn't have a key. And she's been staying there. Now, let me ask you this. Ask Mr. Robinson one point blank question. Is Miss Yvonne Bush a co-owner of that home? Yes or no?
No.
He said absolutely.
No, she not. He's staying in one bedroom.
Have court papers. Yes, I don't know what he's talking about.
Okay, I'm not going to get into that. Hold on. I'm not going to get into who owns the home. Maybe you haven't probated something to get your name on the deed. Whose name's on the deed? Is the last question I'm going to ask about that. Whose name is on the deed? I'm sorry?
John Robinson Jr., my client's name, Your Honor.
His name is the only name on the deed?
That's what he claims, Your Honor.
No.
I believe it's a probate dispute is what it sounds like. It sounds like it's a probate dispute.
Yes.
Okay, I'm not going to order keys. I'm not getting into this. Tajane Bush can reside there at this house at 14 Gertrude Place with her father and her grandmother or whoever else is there, except Mr. John Robinson, until they are able to move into their apartment. At the time that they're able to move into their apartment, then Mr. Robinson can go back and reside there. Is that clear? Now, with the keys and all these other things, I don't want to go beyond my scope here, because technically, I guess if you had done the things properly, you would have a key. And that's something you all are going to have to work out. And I understand it may be an issue, but I cannot rule on that in 10 minutes. And that's not what I'm here for. I'm here to make sure Ms. Tajane is safe. Okay?
All right.
Okay. So, Mr. Robinson, make sure that they can get in and out of the house, because they're the ones that are going to be residing there. I'm going to say that. You are not. And until 2 weeks or 3 weeks from now, then you can go back once and if Miss Tajane and her father had moved. That is clear. And Mr. Robinson can go stay somewhere else. In the
May
meantime,
I ask you a question, please?
last one.
I object. She was not a victim of this case, please, Your Honor. It's taking way too
I
long.
understand, PD Kim. Hold on. Last question, Miss Bush.
I'm
Go
sorry,
ahead.
I can barely hear you.
Last question. You have a terrible connection.
I'm not
because you
sure what
keep going in and
happened,
out.
but we're losing
We are.
the volume.
Hurry up. I've got to move on.
One of the neighbors across the street has the key.
I can't get into that. I suggest when you get out there, call the police and see what they can sort out about it.
All right.
Because I really cannot order people to give keys to their houses that I don't know if they're theirs. You could be telling me something that's not true. I'm not going to order things to get people into more trouble and have police. So call the police when you get there, see how they can sort it out, okay?
I understand.
And then it sounds like you need to get a lawyer and go to probate court. You got a lot of things to sort out, but I can't order all that today, okay? I'm just wanting to make sure that your granddaughter is safe. All right? And so, Mr. Robinson, no drugs, alcohol, guns, or weapons while on bond.
But Your Honor, he has to go back one time to retrieve his personal belongings. Right now, he has nothing with him, and he cannot wait for 3 weeks. Yeah. Everything's in there. I walked out the house.
Right. One-time police escort. Maybe when they get there, they can talk to Miss Yvonne Bush and sort some things out and help you. So one-time police escort by Mr. Robinson back to the property to retrieve his personal belongings so that he can stay out for 3 weeks or more. Okay. Is that it, PD Kim?
Your Honor,
Thank you.
thank you.
So who's next?
Kevin, you gotta keep it moving.
Yeah.
Mr. Robinson, she'll call you.
Yep.
Okay, Howard.
I know, right? You know, the truth-o-meter there is going to get started.
Next, we have position number 14, Mr. Price.
All right. This is 24 CR 003346J, Jerry Price, charged with 1 count of theft by deception. Pre-trial.
9th arrest. He went there felony for burglary. I think he got a $5,000 good bond on that. On probation for robbery out of the cab. We got a theft by receiving out of Clayton County. That's 2023. 09 robbery, possession of a knife or a firearm during a commission conviction, holds out of the cab in Clayton County.
All right.
Judge, this incident took place December 30th, 2022. Officers responded to 180 University Avenue in Atlanta in reference to a theft. The owner of the vehicle in question, there's a vehicle here. Her name is Latoya Pinkson. She's told the police that her son was driving her car, which is a 2006 Toyota Avalon, when he started having car trouble and then had to pull over on the side of the interstate and leave the car unattended at the University Avenue exit. Ms. Pinkston could not arrange a tow truck right away. The car actually had to stay on the interstate overnight because the tow truck driver couldn't get there before then. The tow truck driver then went to get the vehicle the next day and it was gone. The officers ran the vehicle through their database and they figured out that the car was located at the gray and white pick-apart, which was located at 117 Field Road. The pick-apart produced paperwork to the investigator that showed that the defendant actually towed the car and dropped it off to the pick-apart and signed a cancellation of title as if he was the owner of the vehicle, and then received a check in the amount of $750 for the vehicle. Our office has not been in touch with the victim. As you heard pre-trial stay, his history is essentially all theft cases, forcible thefts and not forcible thefts. He does have a burglary that's open. He has several thefts in his record. The state's recommending a $2,500 surety bond, a no further contact with the owner of the vehicle, LaToya Pinkston, no weapons, drugs, or alcohol while out on bond. And if we could sound for Miss Pinkston.
All right, it's LaToya Pinkston. It's LaToya Pinkston. Okay, go ahead, PD Kim.
Yes, Your Honor. Mr. Price is 33 years old. He was born and raised here in Georgia. He is engaged right now. He does have 3 minor children that he stays together with. He's supporting them. Your Honor, my client denies the allegation. He said her son, LaToya Pinkston's son, who was driving the car, hired him to do all the work for him because he couldn't do it. My client completely denies the allegation. He's gainfully employed at as a self-employment. And Your Honor, we would like to request for signature on bond through pre-trial, no matter what level it is. He already has another bigger fish to fry right now. Thank you. And also he has 2 other foreign counties that he has to take care of. So he will be losing his job and he will not be making any money for a long time. Thank you.
He has holds?
Yes, Boring County, Clayton County, and DeKalb County. So he's not going anywhere, Your Honor.
All right, I will give him a $2,500 signature bond through the jail, so he can be released to his hold. And he should stay away from what is it, 180 University Avenue. No further contact with LaToya Pinkston. No drugs, alcohol, weapons, or guns while on bond.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. Next.
Position number 1, Miss Alexander, she's at Grady. We'll have to, I guess, give her a medical reset.
Okay.
And that's all we have here. Everything else is AC/DC.
And
Excuse me, no disrespect. Can you hear me?
Who is speaking?
My name is Tisha Bryson, Your Honor.
Yeah.
I just want, no disrespect for interrupting. I just want to make sure, because I was waiting for the case for Rossini Barnwell. Has that happened yet? Because I was told it's supposed to happen at 2 p.m.
That name is not on the calendar. Help me out, Deputy Falk, or someone else.
They were on the pool sheet.
Mr. Barnwell was referred to PAD. Was he the one that had?
Was he the one that's on the pad?
That's a program. You want to explain her maybe, or tell her what to do, PD Atai?
He's going to be released tomorrow morning to the PAD program. They're going to provide him services for housing or anything that he might need help with.
Oh, okay. Okay, so it's no bond or anything like that. He's just going to be released.
That is correct.
Thank you.
Just to clarify, Judge, Mr. Barnwell's, none of his, this must be I assume, a family member or relation, somebody with a relationship of some sort to Mr. Barnwell, because none of the charges involved anyone else.
We need to know, Ms. Bryson, are you the victim in the case?
No,
she is not. It was
What's
the
your
seatbelt
relation?
charge.
It was a seatbelt situation.
No, what is your relation to Mr.?
Oh, yes, Your Honor. Yes, ma'am. His girlfriend.
Oh, okay.
Yes, I was.
We're just making sure. We just, just wanted to know who you were. That's all.
Okay. Well, I can go ahead and leave, and thank you all.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Okay. And thank you for your service, everyone.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay.
All right. Who else do we have? Oh, everything's AC/DC now?
Well, position number 18, Taylor, Wade, and Morris. Position number 11. Wade.
Okay. We want to do AC/DC, then take the waiver so they can move along.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. The ladies need to hear their rights. We have position 2, Ms. Brooks. Position 4, Ms. Evans. Position 17, Ms. Shirley. Position 20, Ms. Wood.
Okay, I'll try to keep up with you. All right, we have position 2, Erica Brooks, 24 CR 03331Y. Charge with 1 count of battery and a 2nd count of simple battery. Pre-trial.
2010 simple assault conviction. I'll take this one level 1.
Okay. State.
Your Honor, before we get started, it sounds like ACDC said that the female defendants have not heard their rights. And so if we could just go over the waiver, their rights with them before we get started so everyone understands.
I keep forgetting they're not on with us at the beginning. Thank you. All right, we're getting ready to begin our Fulton County State Court Expedited Accusations calendar. And this is a calendar for cases in which individuals have recently been arrested and charged with certain misdemeanor offenses. Soon after your arrest, or after the arrest, the Fulton County Solicitor General's office has already accused these cases of the offenses brought against them, and the cases have been bound over to the Fulton County State Court. This is usually your initial appearance before a state court judge to handle matters such as bond. I want to remind you that the reset date for state all purpose is June 13th. I also want to remind you that this proceeding is being recorded as well as live streamed on YouTube. So govern yourselves accordingly. You have certain constitutional rights. The first being that you have a right to have counsel, which you should know who your attorneys are by now. And you also have a right to remain silent. Remember that anything that you state about the facts or circumstances or the occurrences of your case can and will be used against you. So listen to your attorneys, okay? All right. And go ahead with position 2, Ms. Brooks.
Yes, Your Honor. Beginning with Miss Erica Brooks, this incident happened March 10th of 2024. Officers met with Annalyn Sperling at Grady Hospital. She stated she purchased a vehicle from an associate of Marcus Brooks, who's the father of her children. The vehicle was not working and she tried to get her money back from Marcus Brooks. Ms. Sperling then told Marcus Brooks that she was going to file a report with police if he did not give her back her money. Mr. Brooks then came to her location at 2410 Metropolitan Parkway, yelled at her, grabbed her arm. Ms. Sperling, when he grabbed her arms, pepper sprayed him in self-defense, and Marcus Brooks punched her in the face, knocked her to the ground. And at one point, the defendant, who's the sister of Marcus Brooks, joined in and began beating her. Ms. Sperling had 2 swollen black eyes, a bloody nose, and a laceration under her right eye. I will state that the defendant has a 2011 conviction for simple assault, which had been reduced down from aggravated assault, a 2010 battery, which was dismissed, and a 2002 simple assault and willful obstruction arrest. We are asking, since her entire history of 4 cycles is all violence, we are asking for a $5,000 surety bond. That's going to be $4,000 on the battery, $1,000 on the simple battery. No further contact with Annalyn Sperling. Stay away from 2410 Metropolitan Parkway. No alcohol, drugs, or weapons. We would like to sound for Miss Annalyn Sperling at this time. That's all for the state.
Anna Sperling. Miss Sperling. All right, PD Atai.
Yes, Your Honor, my client is 38 years old. She has lived in Georgia all her life. She is the mother of a 16-year-old high school student. She is gainfully employed working at the airport. Just to address the history, Your Honor, she has a 2011 conviction. These things are, in 2010, 14 years ago, and the state mentioned 2002. 22 years ago, Your Honor. And as you heard from pretrial, because of her history, she is recommended for a signature bond at level 1. So that's what the history indicates. It's very old, Your Honor. She's 38 years old. She hasn't had an arrest in the last 14 years. So I think that you should go with pretrial's recommendation for a signature bond through pretrial services level 1. The state also said that 2410 Metropolitan Parkway, that Mr. Brooks and my client came to the complaining witness's location. That is not her location. That's where Miss Brooks' brother works. It's the auto shop. So they didn't go, or my client did not go to the complaining witness's location. That's not her location. But my client's fine staying away from that location. It's where her brother works. So she doesn't work there. She works full-time at the airport, and that's how she found out about this warrant. She completely denies the allegation as stated in the warrant. And nothing further, Your Honor. I would ask for the signature bond through pretrial services at level 1. And no further contact with this person is fine. My client doesn't even know who it is.
All right. But the warrant was taken out against her with the allegations of her committing one of the batteries on the victim. Is that correct, Deputy Falk?
That is correct.
Okay.
But apparently she doesn't know her. So I guess the allegation is that Miss Brooks just beat up a woman she didn't know.
All right.
It's an allegation, and she denies the allegations as stated in the warrant.
Okay. I'm going to order a $5,000 signature bond through pretrial level 1. And I'm going to order a 2-day anger awareness course through pretrial. I'm going to order her to stay away from the victim in this case, Miss Sperling. I have no further contact with her. Stay away from the brothers' auto place on Metropolitan, 2410. Have no further contact with Miss Sperling. Don't go around her wherever she may find her. She's to be 200 yards away from her and to have no forms of contact with her. No drugs, alcohol, weapons, or guns while on bond. That should be it.
Yeah, I know when you put that bond down, there are 2 charges.
Miss Bridgewater beat me to it. I was about to ask the same thing.
Okay.
All right. And I was saying 5,000.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
2,500 on each.
Thank you.
And that should be it. Is that it, counsel?
That's all for the state.
All right. I think the next case was position 4. This Miss Evans. Miss Evans. This is 24 CR 0033332C. Tamisha Evans, charged with 1 count of simple battery family violence, pretrial.
12 total, 2013 motor vehicle equipment violation. I didn't see any felony convictions. Level 1.
All right, state.
Pretrial, let me ask you something. Did you see the 8 cycles out of Tennessee?
I did. Is convictions in it? I don't think I
Let's
saw
see.
convictions.
Okay, no, there were, but I was just making sure you had her Tennessee history as well.
Yeah, because the 2013 out of Tennessee was the motor vehicle equipment violation.
Okay, thank
Yeah.
you. All right, so this happened May 6, 2024 at 2447 Baywood Drive Southeast. LaTaylor Jenkins stated she was in a verbal argument with the defendant, who's her living girlfriend. The defendant had bleached Miss Jenkins' clothes 3 weeks prior, and they began arguing about that incident. The defendant, according to Miss Jenkins, approached her with a knife in her hand, continuing to argue with her while Miss Jenkins was trying to leave. And Miss Jenkins turned her back on the defendant. At that point, the defendant threw the knife at her, striking her in the back. Miss Jenkins did not have any injuries. I will say that the defendant has, the victim in our case, Miss Jenkins, has recanted, and she stated she is not in fear of the defendant and wants continued contact. The reason for the state's concerns is out of the 8 cycles of Tennessee, we have a 2007 arrest for domestic assault, a 2005 arrest for aggravated assault, a 2005 arrest for domestic assault. I do not show dispositions on any of those. Like when I say no disposition, I mean, I'm not even showing a dismissal. I'm showing nothing. So I'm not sure what the result of those cases were. For that reason, the state is asking for a signature bond through pretrial level 2, no further violent contact with LaTaylor Jenkins, and 1-day anger awareness, no alcohol, drugs, or weapons. We would like to sound for Miss LaTaylor Jenkins at this time.
All right, Ms. LaTaylor Jenkins,
Yes.
would you like to address the court briefly today?
I really don't know what she threw at
Yes
me.
or
Like
no?
I lied
Yeah,
to the court. Yes,
hold
ma'am.
on, hold on. Do you
Yes,
wish
ma'am.
to address the court today? Yes or no?
Yes, ma'am.
I need to see your camera. I need to see your face. If I can't, you can't speak. All right, raise your right hand for me. Do you affirm the testimony you're about to give will be the truth and nothing but the truth under the penalty of perjury?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, put your hand down. I cannot really see your face. Your hat's in the way, and I can only see your forehead. All right. 2 questions. Are you in fear of Miss Tamisha Evans?
No.
Do you want to have any further contact with Tamisha Evans?
Yes.
All right. Any cross-examination by the state? Oh, you're on mute.
Ms. Jenkins, are you the one that called the police?
Yes, I did.
Okay. That's all for the state.
All right.
Your Honor, my client is 42 years old. She is the mother of 3 minor children and 2 adult children. She is a Georgia resident. And I think, you know, any arrest out of state, she has no convictions other than I think 1 misdemeanor traffic. If I heard that right from pretrial. So, you know, old cases that are sitting in Tennessee have either been dismissed or they're not being prosecuted. So she, you know, is presumed to be innocent of any of those charges. So I would say that all she has in her history is traffic. And that last arrest was also, I think the pretrial said 2013, and pretrial stated that she is recommended for a signature bond at level 1. I spoke with the complaining witness and she stated that it was a misunderstanding. She told me that they never fight, they never argue, and nothing more than that. I would ask for the signature bond through pretrial services. If it can't be through the jail, I would prefer the jail. She does have 3 minor children, and she is also gainfully employed, working at the airport. Again, that's this happened May 7th, so a few weeks ago, and that's how she found out about the warrant, but nothing happened at the time. So, and no violent contact, nothing further.
All right, $2,500 signature bond through pretrial, level 2. And I'm going to order a 3-day anger awareness course. I'm going to order no drugs, alcohol, weapons, or guns while on bond. I will go ahead and order no further violent contact between the parties. And let's make sure this is over and has cooled down since it's been a couple of weeks ago. All right, and that's all out order at this time.
Your Honor.
Yes.
Miss Shirley?
This is 17. Who is this? Let's see. Is it Miss Shirley?
Yes.
Okay. This is 24 CR 003350C. Marquenia Shirley, charge of 1 count of battery. Pre-trial.
9th arrest. I got an open case for absconding and obstruction in another state. That was out of Arkansas. On probation for arson out of DeKalb County. 2020 probation. 2019 obstruction conviction. 2019 simple battery conviction. 2018 ag battery on a nurse. 2013 battery. That's all.
All right, state.
Your Honor, this incident took place May 28th, 2024. Officers responded to the Higher Quest business located at 1751 Washington Road in East Point in reference to a battery. Upon arrival, the officers spoke with the victim, Stephanie Bruce. She advised that she works at the location with the defendant. She was sleeping in her car behind the business when the defendant came over and accused her of stealing her things. The victim told the defendant she had no idea what she was talking about, and the defendant kicked her in the leg, causing her to fall and bruise her elbow. Our office has been in touch with the victim. She stated that they both work at the incident location. She confirmed the events in the warrant. She said she barely knows the defendant. She felt like this incident came out of nowhere. She stated that they were standing outside the business and the defendant kept threatening her. She wants no contact, and she's unable to attend on the Zoom. As pretrial said, she does have a history of violence, Your Honor. And in light of that, the state is recommending a $2,500 surety bond, a no further contact with the victim, a stay away from the incident location, anger awareness, no weapons, drugs, or alcohol while out on bond. I don't expect the victims here. However, if we could still sound for her, Miss Stephanie Bruce.
Right, Stephanie Bruce. And the state's recommendation for what type of bond again?
A $2,500 surety.
Okay. PD Kim?
Yes, Your Honor. My client Shirley is 36 years old and she resides here in Georgia. She's been here for about 3 years and she has some college education. She graduated from, she went to Robert Morris University, Your Honor. She's constantly missing work right now, so she's afraid that she's going to be losing her job. She has been working there at that incident location, at construction site, sweeping, cleaning, and she does not even know that person, but this person, Stephanie Bruce, had a pipe that from the construction site, and she was the one who swung the pipe at her, and she believes there was a CCTV camera that has recorded this incident, and she denies the allegation. She pleads innocent. So we would like to request for a signature on bond through pretrial level 1. She has no children, and that's about it, Your Honor. Thank you.
Your Honor, there was no CCTV footage. She told the police the same thing and they were unable to corroborate it. The victim denied it, that's what happened.
All right. Let's see. The history concerns me a little bit. But I will order a $2,500 surety bond. I'll change it. I'll order a 2,500 signature bond, and I'll order that through pretrial level 1. I will order a one day anger awareness course. I will order, make it a 2-day anger awareness course. I'm sorry, 2 days. I will also order no drugs, alcohol, weapons, or guns while on bond.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Your Honor, the no further contact and
Oh,
stay
I'm sorry.
away.
Yes, thank you. Stay away from that Washington Road address 1751 and no further contact with the victim, Stephanie Bruce. Sorry.
Further contact is okay, but
What was the bond?
not there.
2,500.
She works there, Your
This will
Honor.
be pretrial. What were you saying, PD Kim?
That place is where she works right now, the construction site.
Well, they're co-workers fighting each other, right?
Yes.
Well, I don't know if she needs to go back unless she's going to end up in jail. They got to stay away from each other. This just happened. There's not been any cooling off period. So she might need to take a few days off work or something. I just don't know that I would order her to go back to work when the allegations are that she kicked or beat up her coworker, right?
Yes, Your Honor, and the victim has stated that she is in fear of her and wants no contact, and obviously they work together, so someone has to
Well,
leave. And
someone has to leave. So right now, Miss Shirley, you can't go back to your job. I'm so sorry. Not that job anyway.
What's the level?
Level, I think I said level 1. Did I say level 1?
Level
you
think
said
one.
level 1.
Level 1
And this per judge.
per judge.
Okay.
So you must stay away from that Washington Road address, Miss Shirley, else you'll be rearrested.
Okay.
All right, thank you. I think the next one, what did you say?
20, Miss Wood.
20?
Yes, Your Honor.
Oh, this was the case from the dual arrest, right?
Yes.
Okay. All right. With position 6, I believe. So this is 24 CR 003343A Yasmin Wood, rather. 1 count of simple battery, family violence. Pre-trial.
18 total. Open case out of the cab. Felony obstruction. Suspended license given false name. 2024. 2018 probation. 2014 ag assault. Theft by taking PTR. 2012 probation and FTA. 2011 simple battery DV arrest and FTA.
All right. Briefly, I do remember the facts state. You have anything else to add?
Your Honor, the only thing I need to add is that in this situation, it was alleged that the defendant shoved Donovan Houseworth in the back and shoulders with her hands, causing him to fall into the wall. She did admit to striking him during the altercation. As you've heard, she has 18 cycles, including a case that was placed on the dead docket in 2014 for aggravated assault. We are asking for a $1,500 surety bond, no further contact with Donovan Houseworth, 1 day anger awareness, and no alcohol, drugs, or weapons. That's all for the state.
All right. PD Kim?
Yes, Your Honor, my client, Miss Wood, is 30 years old. She was born and raised here in Georgia, Your Honor. She's gainfully employed as a bartender in nightclub. And however, she recently lost her job, so she is currently unemployed. She was gainfully employed. She does have 2 minor children, 1 and 8 years old. And right now her mother is taking care of those 2 children because she is incarcerated. And Your Honor, the place that they live together is her mother's place. It's not his place. So I think my client should be returning to that location. I believe position number 6 received a signature on bond through jail. And my client should be also getting signature on bond through jail because 2014 is very remote. That's almost 10 years ago, Your Honor. She has a high school diploma and she prefers to have a no further violent contact, and yet we will not have any objection to no further contact either. Thank you.
2 things, Your Honor. 1, the state didn't request stay away, only on Mr. Houseworth. The second thing is Mr. Houseworth didn't have 18 cycles. Miss Wood does. That's all.
I was getting ready to say, yeah, I kind of thought the same thing, and that's why I was looking back in my notes here because I didn't remember him having a long history. Let me do this. I will order a $1,500 surety bond. I will order no further. Is it no further violent contact? With
Your
Mr.
Honor,
House?
ordered no further contact with Mr. Houseworth, and the state asked for no further contact for both of them for the time being.
All right, okay. Yes, this just happened, so we need the cooling off. No further contact with Mr. Houseworth. No drugs, alcohol, weapons, or guns while on bond. And what about the stay away?
The
He's
state didn't
staying
request
away.
to stay away for Miss Wood, just for Mr. Houseworth.
Right, so he's staying away. Okay.
I got a question. He got no further violence with her, correct?
No, the state requested no further contact.
I wrote down no further violence for him. I'm sorry.
Well,
Let me go back.
now just to clarify, I don't know what the judge ordered. That's just what the state asked for.
Yeah, I think if she ordered no further violence.
Hold on, I'll tell you.
Yeah,
For Yasmin, position number 7, I have no further contact.
No further? Okay.
No further, yes.
okay.
Time for me to get off.
It's been a long one today.
Hey,
I hate
me
to say.
too.
Okay. I think all of us do too. We're trying to do the best we can.
And
All
what's
right,
this
I
bond
think
again, Judge?
1,500 surety.
All right.
Your Honor, my client does not have any employment right now because she was fired, and please, she has 2 minor children and she has no money to bond out.
I see Miss Pat Wood. Who is that? Is that her mom?
Yes, she
It
is
is.
her mom.
That's her mother? Okay, maybe she'll help her.
Was it number 6, position number 6, not the 7? I just want to double check.
I can't hear you, PD Kim's a lot of background noise. What now?
The cross defendant was position number 6, if I remember correctly. And I just got number 7, contact for number 7 from Ms. Holly. So can we double check again about the?
Oh, because it should have
Position
been
number
position
7 is with Yasmin Wood. No further contact.
No further contract.
That's position number 7.
Yes,
Yes.
ma'am. Thank you.
Okay,
You're welcome.
thank you. All right, that should conclude this case, right? Anything else, counsel? Did I leave out anything? I don't think so. All right, we will have the 2 waivers.
Yes, Your Honor.
Your Honor, what about position 10, Tommy Jones?
Let's see.
What's happened to him?
The bond was paid.
Oh.
Okay, thank you.
Forgot to tell us that.
I'm sorry.
You know, Mr. Howard will get you for that. Good. All right.
Courtroom 2. Number 18 was reset behavior, right? From what I was told out of felony.
Let's see. Oh,
18.
I have a waiver.
Oh, he waiving?
Yes.
Oh, okay. She told me. Okay.
And what are the positions on both of the waivers?
18 and what's the other one?
The other one's
10.
Morris.
10 and 18.
10 and 18.
Oh, 10 was released.
11 and 18.
I mean 11.
11 and 18.
11.
I was gonna say, I thought 10 was released. Okay.
Everybody else tired too.
Very much. Okay, so we're going on to position number 11 with
Yes,
the waiver.
Yep.
Okay,
24 CR 00333342. Derek Eugene Morris, 1 count of criminal trespass, pretrial.
20 total, over 20. 2023 probation, 2023 simple battery obstruction conviction. 2022 battery conviction, 2021 criminal mischief in another state. 2021 unlawful entry, simple assault. Another 2021 unlawful entry, open container. Another 2021 arrest for unlawful entry, that's by itself. 2021 FTA, 2018 drug possession, 2015 possession of a weapon for unlawful purposes conviction. Jail. If that's it.
Okay.
Judge, this incident took place May 29th, 2024. Officers responded to the Family Dollar at 565 Joseph E. Lowry Boulevard. They had previously criminally trespassed the defendant, and he was up back at the store. The state's recommending a SOB jail and stay away from the Family Dollar.
Okay.
No objection.
I'll give it a $1,500 signature bond through the jail. Stay away from that Family Dollar. And no drugs, alcohol, weapons, or guns on bond. Any objection, PD Kim?
No objection, Your Honor.
All right. And there was no victims, or do we just want to say no further contact with the employees, or it doesn't matter?
I don't even have the information for the employees,
Okay.
Your Honor. Just
All
if he
right,
could
just
stay away, that
stay
would
away from
be
that
sufficient.
Family Dollar. All right, and then number, is it 20?
18.
18. Sorry, I'll get it together. Let's see. Yes. 18 is Jeremy Taylor, 24 CR 003348. 2 counts of theft by shoplifting. Pre-trial.
22 total. He'll be going to felony tomorrow for robbery by intimidation and armed robbery. 2019 battery DV, simple battery DV conviction. 2017 probation FTA. 2015-16 probation, 2012 FTA, and 2012 trespass conviction.
All right.
Your Honor, I'm also showing he has 2 convictions from 2015 for theft by taking. He was sentenced under first offender, and then also a previous theft by shoplifting.
Okay.
This incident is actually 2 incidents that happened. The first on May 12th and the second on May 28th. Both at the same location, the BP located at 950 Marietta Street. For the first incident that happened on May 12th, officers responded to the BP at 950 Marietta Street regarding a theft. When they got there, they made contact with the owners. The male owner, Mr. Suryanarayana Bandaru, said that it was about midnight. He was at the rear of the store stocking the fridge when he heard his wife scream out from the front of the store. He ran to her. He saw a black male running away. The wife advised that the male went behind the register and snatched a pack of Newports out of her hand and then left. And then the second incident happened on May 28th, 2024. Officers responded to the same location in reference to a theft. The clerk advised that the defendant stole a carton of Newport cigarettes and then fled the scene. He was apprehended a few streets over. He did have a carton of cigarettes on his person, and the clerk positively ID'd him. And then he was also positively ID'd by the owners as the person who committed the theft the week prior. As you heard pre-trial stay, he does have felony first appearance tomorrow for an armed robbery. He also has another armed robbery arrest from 2024 and 2 other theft convictions. The state is asking for a $2,000 surety bond.
Graciano, I'm so
Yes.
sorry to interrupt you. I do sincerely apologize. What is the address of your incident?
950 Marietta Street.
Okay. I just wanted to double check because the armed robbery is at 800 Marietta Street. So I wanted to make sure it wasn't the exact same location.
Oh, but it's right there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
So it's confusing because the warrant for this case has all of the addresses. So, but my understanding of reading them is both of these incidents happened at the 950 Marietta Street. Thank you, Ms. Falk. Okay, the state's recommending a $2,000 surety bond. That would be $1,000 on each count of shoplifting, a stay away from the incident location, no further contact with the owners. I'll put them in the chat because the spelling's difficult. No weapons, drugs, or alcohol while on bond. And if we could sound for Mr. and Mrs. Bandaru.
Okay, Mr. and Mrs. Vanderu. Don't think we have any other outside people on. I think it's all us. Yeah, I believe. Yeah. Okay.
Yes, Your Honor. My client, Mr. Taylor, is 33 years old. He was born and raised here in Georgia. He has been residentially challenged for the last 2 years, so he does not have any income as of now. He does have some issues. Armed robbery and robbery by intimidation. Tomorrow will be a huge fish to fry, and we would like to request for a signature on bond through jail for a theft by shoplifting. And stay away, we have no objection, Your Honor. No further contact, no objection. Thank you.
All right, I'll order $2,000 surety bond, 1,000 on each. Stay away from the 950 Marietta, the incident location, and no drugs, alcohol, weapons, or guns while on bond.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right. Is that it?
That's it, Your Honor.
That's it from the state.
Okay,
Okay, well, if we're ready to go over the calendar, I'm ready.
yes.
Okay, once again, the reset date for the SAP calendar is June the 13th. Position number 1 is medically reset till tomorrow. Position number 2 is reset further notice with a total $5,000 SOB through pretrial. 3, reset further notice with a $3,500 SOB through pretrial. 4, reset further notice with a $2,500 SOB through pretrial. 5 is going to the SAP calendar with a total $3,000 good bond. 6, reset further notice with a $1,000 SOB through the jail. 7, reset further notice with a total $3,000 SOB through the jail. 8, reset further notice with a total $3,000 SOB through the jail. 9 is reset further notice with a $2,500 SOB through pretrial with a cosigner per judge. Position number 10 is reset further notice as the defendant has been released. 11 is reset further notice with the $1,500 SOB through the jail. 12 is going to the SAP calendar with a $7,500 good bond. 13 is reset further notice with a $3,500 SOB through the jail. 14 is reset further notice with a $2,500 SOB through the jail. 15 is going to the SAP calendar with a total $3,000 good bond. 16, reset further notice with a $3,500 SOB through the jail. 17 is reset further notice with a $2,500 SOB through pretrial per judge. 18 is going to the SAP calendar with a total $2,000 good bond. 19 is going to the SAP calendar with a total $3,000 good bond. 20 is going to the SAP calendar with a $1,500 good bond. Are there any questions, comments, or otherwise?
Yeah, I'm good.
Sounds good. Thank you, everybody.
Okay,
Bye.
take care, everyone.
Goodbye. Have a good one.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Bye.